guys, welcome to my channel, and today we are talking Real Housewives. This is going to be a short video I'm going to be uploading today and going live later, so make sure that you pay attention to those notifications because we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and last night's episode, Sheree Whitfield and her new boyfriend, but that's for another video. Today we are going to be talking about the two T's in a podcast, as well as Teresa Giudice and her new podcast that she announced will be releasing soon. So before we get started, guys, make sure you hit that like button. It really does help my channel. It helps my video. If you guys want to subscribe, I'm definitely trying to grow my channel, and then go ahead and turn those notifications on so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about the two T's in a podcast. We know that Tamara hosts that. She's going to be she's already filming for the Real Housewives of Orange County. And then we have Teddi Mellencamp, who is friends of Kyle Richards' best friends. And every interview that we see with Reality Burb, we see Kyle saying that she wants to have Teddi back. It would be so fun to film with Teddi, blase, blase. They take an opportunity to do their podcast, and we've heard that Tamara won't be allowed to discuss the Real Housewives of Orange County. Teddi originally had this podcast first. She started it, and then Tamara came in. But now they're taking credit for basically starting the Housewives, movement of, having podcasts. That's basically what they said when they announced that Teresa Giudice will be having her own podcast. She's coming out with it. And they said, Teddi said, oh, wow, we really must have started a trend. Basically that's what she said about, because Teresa's, getting her own podcast. But what they didn't mention was that Melissa Gorga has had her own podcast for like 8 to 9 months. And Heather Dubrow has a podcast. And so I don't think it's really fair to say that they kind of started this movement, because I don't think that's necessarily the case. We have Tamara. She talks about Teresa Giudice's dress. She lets us know that it's actually done by the same designer. Now, she did post on Twitter, I think, like a photo side by side, and she commented that it was the same designer, but that hers was custom made. That's what Tamara said about her wedding dress. She posted 2 photos, one of Teresa side by side in their wedding dresses, and she says, yes, we had the same designer, but mine was custom made. Okay, we get it. So then on the podcast, of course, they're talking about Teresa's wedding and her hair and the dress, and Tamara goes into the whole explanation that she said the dress was very, very similar to hers, almost identical, even had like the rose gold coloring, and she said that she spoke to someone on the designer's team, and they explained to Tamara that Tamara's dress was custom made for her, and that the one Teresa bought would be like one hanging on the rack at like a discount store, basically saying that the dress was bought at discount, and it's a knockoff version of Tamara's original dress. I want to know your thoughts on that, guys. I don't even know how that's really possible, if it's like the design. I don't know. That's why I want to know your guys' thoughts on it. Is Tamara just being petty patty, or is she making a valid point with this wedding dress? And then Teddi, of course, chimes in and says, oh yeah, Tam. And she calls Tamara Tam. Tam. Okay, Tam, I noticed that you also had the same bridesmaid colored dresses as Teresa's wedding. And Tam was like, yeah, I didn't even realize. So she's really alluding here that Teresa copied off of her and copied off of her wedding. I want to know what you guys think about that. It's funny to me because Tamara is just, she got herself back on the show, so we have to give her a little bit of credit there. Also, they talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They kind of do a recap, and Teddi, she is very biased. Like, you can tell in her comments that she's biased and she's pro Kyle. And as soon as they got to discussing the scene of where Kyle leans over the table and asks Sutton, hey, did Lisa Rinna really tell you use the F word? And, she's like, yeah, she definitely used the F word. But she's like, I don't want to talk about it right now, Kyle. Sutton says this. And Teddi says that Sutton basically just sits there and takes it. And that Kyle had to do that. And she was like kind of laughing because production basically puts them in that room, and it's like a boiling pot, and that's why nobody like cared to stop Lisa Rinna from going on and on and on and yelling, because they were thankful that it was her and not them, because production, you know, needed a scene, basically. And Teddi said it's like they're sitting around trying to find stuff to be mad at each other about, to find a storyline, to start drama. That's what Teddi said. Like, she made it sound like these women are in this room filming, and she said they have to find stuff to be mad at each other about because they have to start drama. I thought that was a strange thing to say. She does mention Dwight, who we saw was a guest at the party and who was actually a friend of LVP's that we met a long time ago. And no one seems to be speaking up about Dwight, who he is, what he does, any of that sort. They just mentioned that he was on with LVP and a friend of Lisa Vanderpump's. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to find out about Dwight, because I'm going to start some digging. And I know when I was on Dana Wilkie's Live, we did a recap of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we both, you know, were talking about who this Dwight was. And so she was going to do a little bit of research as well, because you guys know she lived in LA and Beverly Hills for years. So it's very possible that she knows a little bit about him. So we'll stay posted on that. Teresa and Louis are on vacation in Greece. Joe and Melissa came out with a podcast. We talked a little bit about this podcast and how Joe Giudice made the claims that Teresa didn't ask him to walk her down the aisle. That's what Joe Giudice's claims. Joe Gorga's claims are that his sister did not ask him to walk her down the aisle, and that he would have been honored to do that. Melissa's really making it like she's taking a stand here. She really gives a lot of backstory and talks about all of the things that they have endured while filming, family situations and drama, and they really feel like they've been stand up people through these whole situations. But here's the crazy part, right? So they go on and on about how they've covered up for people, like they have so much they could say, not just about Teresa, but about other people on the cast, and like they are just good-hearted, and you know, they don't want anyone to look bad, so of course they cover stuff up. And then they go into how honest they are and how Joe is so honest in front of the cameras and he doesn't lie. But my confusion is, like, you can't say that you were covering up for other people, because then that would allude to the fact that you were possibly doing, you know, lying to like, did you lie to cover up for them? Like, what do you mean that you covered up for them? Like, you didn't talk about it on the show, or you covered it up for them by like lying, fibbing? Like, what do you mean you covered up for them? So that to me alludes to dishonest behavior. You're covering something up for somebody, right? Then how can you be so honest? How can you be honest and covering up? That doesn't make sense to me. So if you guys have a different perspective on that, please comment and let us know, for other people that are thinking like me, that you are, there's like contradicting statements and scenarios. On one hand, you're over here like, we love our friends, we love them so much that we cover up for them when stuff is messed up, and we have all this information that we can come forward with, and then in the next sentence be talking about what honest people you are, how much integrity you have, and how honest you are in front of the cameras, and you don't lie, and you're not fake, and just on and on and on and on. It just seems contradicting to me. People are letting us know that Teresa Giudice, there was a blind item that came out that said, you know what, Teresa was done with with New Jersey. She was shopping networks. She wanted to do a spinoff. She wanted to do her own show, okay? And this would explain some of the tension that we saw when Teresa was getting interviewed and people were asking about the wedding and Bravo, and is it going to be on there? And, you know, she was kind of giving short answers, not a lot of information, and we didn't find out until, you know, before the wedding that they were going to do the 4-part series. And it's possible that they were just negotiations for contracts, but the rumor is that Teresa was shopping networks and she wanted a spinoff, and Melissa Gorga was told there would be no place for her if Teresa left. And so that tripped Melissa Gorga out. And so that's why she's blaming Teresa for the rumors and starting all of this drama. It's also alleged she's having an affair with this man named Nick, who has a family himself, but allegedly they were caught making out in a car. And this guy's kind of lines up with all of the trouble in Joe and Melissa's marriage that we saw like 2 seasons ago. That was their storyline, and they didn't really have problems. It was more like Joe Gorga was saying that Melissa was working too much, that she was going out every night, she was doing press every night, she was right? And that was probably when she was going out with Margaret and meeting out with this man. Does that not make sense to anyone? To anyone else, like, align that and think like, oh, they were having problems a couple of years ago about Melissa going out too much and doing press too much and not being home and out and about. And this person, you know, alludes that they were having an affair. Marge opened the car door. They were making out because Marge and Melissa would go to New York City to do press a lot. This has been confirmed and corroborated by David from Behind the Velvet Rope. Also Kim D. David sees them out and about at a specific restaurant that basically sponsors them, with, you know, Margaret and Melissa and a publisher, and then Nick. This was a common foursome of people to be out and about in New York City. Were they doing press? We don't know. Were they out drinking and having a good time and it was just Margaret and Melissa and these two men? Absolutely. I believe that 1,000%. So I think these rumors might have some merit to them, and I think that really worries Melissa. And so again, I think hocus pocus, change the focus. Look at, you know, because I think that Joe would be devastated if he thought Melissa cheated on him. I just do. It would totally end their marriage. It would never be the same. So this isn't the first time we've heard cheating rumors from Melissa, though. So just saying. All right, guys, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on, because it's a big upload day. So we have more to come, and I hope you guys have a great Monday. Thanks.